You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Practice today was open to the media for about 30 minutes. We obviously saw individual period whenever when we first went in there. Not a whole lot to note initially. The running backs were hitting the sleds. The quarterbacks were working on handoffs out of the shotgun. As I mentioned, it was Daniels, Nussmeier, Howard, and I keep just saying the walk-on. It's number 16. He's George Hamsley. Shout out to George Hamsley, 6'5", 195, a redshirt freshman from Memphis. So that's number 16, George Hamsley. The offense was running a 2-minute drill, which they do against air, as we've seen, to start the team periods, or to start the individual periods, rather. So I've kind of explained this before, where there's 4 fields, really. We walk in, just think of it like a giant, think of the practice facility like a giant rectangle. 2 fields side by side and on top of each other. So like a giant rectangle with 4 full-length fields. So we're like at the bottom right corner as we walk in, and the complete opposite end of the opposite field, like 200 yards away on an angle, is where they start this drill. So they run it with the first offense against air. Daniels was the first quarterback, and he would lead them in the 2-minute drill to about midfield, and then Nussmeier jumped in. And so they would finish the drive with the rest of the first team, and then they'd go back and run the second team. Daniels was first. He'd lead him to about midfield. Then Walker Howard jumped in and led the drive the rest of the way. Your first team offensive line remains the same. It seems like that's solidified. At this point, I don't, barring injury, which, knock on wood, nobody wants to see, it seems like that's going to be your line, the one they've been using from left to right, which is Will Campbell, Tremont Shorts, Garrett Dellinger at center, who, by the way, as we've watched, I have not seen a single issue with the snap. It's not to say when they go to team periods that hasn't happened. Don't know. I'm just telling you from what we've seen. I've not seen a single issue with the snap from Garrett Dellinger, other than the one in the rain the other day. So that's a great sign. Miles Frazier at right guard and Anthony Bradford at right tackle. Today it was Cole Taylor as the first tight end. Your first receivers were Kayshon Boutte, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. We also saw, again, this was against air. This was the drill. This was the 2-minute drill against air. We saw Mason Taylor go in second at tight end, and Noah Kane was actually your first running back during that drill. Now, they came together and did a full offensive session later, and we saw a little bit of rotation there where we did see Stores come in there and at tight end with Taylor. And so we got to see a lot of a little more variety there. Other notes, defense, we continue to see Colby Richardson as running first-team cornerback. I'm not telling you that that's set in stone. We see all these guys rotating quite a bit, but we have seen Colby Richardson now run first-team cornerback, which has been kind of impressive to see. So today it was Colby Richardson and Jark Bernard-Converse, and your safeties were Jay Ward and Major Burns, who continues to be back there. Good to see Major Burns coming back from injury. When the offense was out there during their offensive period against a scout defense, but no contact, it was that starting unit that I mentioned, and we got to see Stores and Taylor run primarily at the tight ends with the first group, and we saw both Daniels and Nussmeier rotate with the ones. When they went to the twos, Walker Howard came in. So that was sort of the notable difference. Daniels and Nussmeier and Daniels were taking reps with the ones, and when Denbrock called for the twos, it was Walker Howard who went in with the twos, obviously where Myles Brennan would have been had he been out there. Quarterbacks, one of the interesting things that the quarterbacks are, like, it is just so very clear Joe Sloan is very, very, very focused on Joe Sloan is very focused on accuracy. It's a big thing for Joe Sloan. Every day, and we're sort of kind of getting a rhythm of how they're running practices. And when they go out there and start, the quarterbacks start in the individual period, the first thing they do is some type of accuracy drill. Last week, they brought out like the target bucket, and they were moving on different spots of the field and had to throw it into the bucket. Today they did it was an interesting drill where they're on the end line of the back of the end zone, and they were throwing back onto the field, but they were wide of the goalpost. So they had to go inside of the upright and over the crossbar, but they couldn't lob it. I mean, they had to hit a spot. So and Sloan was on him to make sure that if they had a bad ball, he was do it again. But it was really interesting to see. I mean, he is hyper-focused on accuracy with these drills as they start. They're running a ton of zone read. By the way, I will tell you, just my opinion, and I'm not like charting every throw or anything like that, but watching these guys do these drills, Walker Howard throws the best ball of all of them, and that includes when Myles was there as well. I mean, I'm not telling you from a scouting perspective or anything I don't know. I'm just telling you when you watch it, it just looks different coming out of his hand. He's got a quick release. He's accurate. He's strong arm. Like, he is going to be a lot of fun to watch as he moves along. Chris Hilton was back today. He had been missing some time. There was initially no Bech or Landon Ibieta. Both were out there. Bech came later and was doing some work on the side. And I did watch the place kickers today. Both Mata and Diebert, both are left-footed. I didn't know that. And Mata looked more consistent. Not to say that I wasn't charting how many makes or misses. And to keep in mind, like, from where we could watch, I was at least 100 yards away from him. So they were probably kicking somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 yards, in that range, moving from hash to hash. And the only one that really stood out was Diebert hooked one about 15 yards wide of the goalpost. I mean, you would probably expect from a freshman to have those types of moments, but Mata wears 39. Mata is in 39. And Diebert, I think, is wearing 31. Yeah, 31 is Diebert. So I don't know that there's any great separation, but if you hook one 15 yards wide of the upright, it's probably not a great thing. So I would probably think Mata is the one who maybe has a little nose ahead early, but we'll see how that all transpires. So just a couple of notes from Monday's practice during the media availability. Wednesday, they have a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, and the plan is for Brian Kelly to have the entire scrimmage open to the media, which would be pretty incredible to get to watch him scrimmage, which I've never done in my career covering this team since 2007. So it would be really cool to be in Tiger Stadium and watch them scrimmage and get a much better sense of where things stand with all these position groups that we're talking about here. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.